Well, good morning, Bucknutters. This is not the Bucknuts Morning Five. This is actually the Bucknuts Basketball Breakdown. I'm Steve Hellwagon. I was a little tired last night, unable to get to this as I probably should have in the afterglow of what was a huge Ohio State win on whatever day that was, Wednesday night. Ohio State 94, Penn State 62. The concern going into the game was whether or not Ohio State would fall into an upset trap at Penn State. And here's Penn State, the last place team in the Big Ten with just 3 wins in Big Ten play. But one of them came this past weekend when they upset Iowa 71-69. And that's the same Iowa team that had defeated Ohio State by 17 points last Wednesday in Iowa City in a game that felt and looked like it was about a 30-point blowout. Of course, Christoph Tilley didn't play in that game for Ohio State, and he was definitely in this one. He was among 5 players in double figures as the Buckeyes went out to Penn State and just demolished the Nittany Lions. And it's hard to decide what was most impressive. The defense, where they held Penn State without a made field goal for 13 and a half minutes, a stretch in the first half that allowed them to go from being ahead 10-9 to being ahead 33-11. That's a pretty good run right there when you look at it. And so the Buckeyes were able to go ahead by as many as 28 points in the first half. They settled for a 24-point halftime lead, 45-21. They eventually led by as many as 36 points in the second half and closed it out with the 32-point win. So we talked about just very briefly the defense, 13 and a half minutes with no field goals. How about the offense? This was the best offensive performance of the year by far. Ohio State shot 66.7% from the field, 34 of 51. And our research, we believe that's one of the top 10 all-time shooting percentage games in Ohio State history. The issue with that is their list only goes down to about 6 or 7 games, but the 66.7 is very close to the last one that they listed. So I'm just going to say it appears it's one of the top 10 games in terms of field goal percentage in OSU history. The three-point percentage was even better. They shot a better percentage on threes than they did on twos. They ended up 69.6% on threes, 16 of 23. That is the fourth best three-point percentage in a single game in Ohio State history. So that is fairly remarkable. And of course, the star of this show was John Mobley Jr., the sophomore guard who has had the finger issue. It doesn't bother him. He was 9 of 12 from the field, 8 of 9 on threes. His 8 3-pointers are the fourth most in a single game in Ohio State history and the most since John Diebler had 8 made threes against Penn State about 15 years ago. So that was impressive. And his single game 3-point percentage of 88.9% is the 6th best in the school record book. The Buckeyes completed a season sweep of Penn State. They'd beaten them 84-78. They actually beat them much worse on the road than they did at home. Buckeyes end up 5-5 in the Big Ten in road games, 5-6 overall. The other one was a loss at Pittsburgh. And of course, you look at this and you say, well, Ohio State is on the verge of locking down its first NCAA tournament berth since 2022, a 4-year run, have missed the last 3 tournaments. And I just look at it that still some more work to accomplish. Ohio State is 19-11 overall. They're guaranteed an above 500 finish in the Big Ten. They are 11-8 in Big Ten play, and they are in the running to finish with either the 8th seed or possibly even the 7th seed, and that would give them a double bye to the third round of the Big Ten tournament, and their first game would be next Thursday at the United Center in Chicago. But certainly more Big Ten action today. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So a lot of games to be determined. The seedings won't be final until Sunday night after the last two games are played in the late Sunday afternoon shift. I believe one of them's on CBS. Michigan State is one of them. Not sure what the other one is, but one of them's on CBS. One of them is on Fox. Ohio State's final game will be at home against Indiana, a team that beat Minnesota last night, 77-44, I believe was the final score. 77-47 maybe was the final score. And that snapped, I believe, a 4-game losing streak for Indiana, which had really fallen off down the stretch. Joe Lunardi has Indiana among his last 4 in, which means they'd be in the first 4. He's elevated Ohio State to his last 4 byes, at least as of yesterday. Probably moved him up even farther than that. And that's the thing. If they continue to win, they will not be in the first 4 in Dayton. They'll actually be in the regular field, so that they won't have to play in the first 4 out in Dayton if they keep winning. So that's an important distinction. A little bit more about this game last night, and certainly we talked about John Mobley Jr., and he just came out firing. He was 4 of 5 on threes in the first half, 4 of 4 in the second half. In the second half, their shooting was just ridiculous. 73% from the field, 75%, 9 of 12 for the team behind the three-point line. They out-rebounded Penn State in this game, 34-14. Penn State was playing without one of its top players, freshman guard Caden Mingo, averaging about 14 points a game. He was unable to play, and the Nittany Lions definitely suffered as a result of that. Ohio State's defense made them look real bad, obviously, there in that first half. We talked about John Mobley Jr., but Bruce Thornton, what a game he had. 18 points, 7 of 8 field goals, 2 of 2 on three-pointers, 2 of 2 at the foul line, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 32 minutes. That's probably the fewest minutes he's played in a long time. And a great showing, obviously, by Bruce Thornton. Obviously, he is trying to track down the Ohio State career scoring record of 2,096 points set by Dennis Hopson, who played for the Buckeyes from 1984 to 1987. Bruce now is sitting at 2,085 points. He needs 11 points to tie it, 12 points to break it, and it surely seems that with Bruce Thornton averaging about 20 points a game, that it's going to happen on Saturday against Indiana on his senior day at Ohio State at Schottenstein Center. It is also Bruce Thornton bobblehead night. Now, we have good news and we have bad news on Bruce Thornton bobblehead night. The good news is they're going to pass out Bruce Thornton bobbleheads to folks as they arrive. As I understand it, people who enter the Northeast, Northwest, and the students who enter the Southwest entrances will be able to get these. The very bad news is a crowd probably between 16 and 18,000 is expected for the home finale and the regular season finale. And in their infinite wisdom, they only have 2,000 Bruce Thornton bobbleheads. So you probably need to get there and get in line about 2 o'clock for the 5:30 start. They'll open the gates around 4 p.m. And good luck to you all trying to get one of those 2,000 Bruce Thornton bobbleheads. I understand they may be available on eBay for purchase as well. And we'll provide any updates that we have regarding that. But definitely a win in that game. Again, depending on what Iowa does, and they've got tough games here, Nebraska and Michigan, to end the regular season. If Iowa loses one of those games and Ohio State wins its last game, then the Buckeyes are guaranteed nothing worse than the 8th seed and potentially the 7th seed, depending on what perhaps UCLA may do in front of them as well. So Ohio State would have the tiebreaker on UCLA. Iowa would have the tiebreaker on Ohio State. So still some games to be played. As we said, if you're the 9 seed, you would play next Wednesday in, I believe it's an early game, a noon game next Wednesday at the Big Ten tournament. You would play like the winner of the 16-17 game on Tuesday. Yes, they are inviting all 18 teams to play in the Big Ten tournament, and they have rented the United Center for 6 full days to have this monstrosity. What the world needed was an 18-team Big Ten and an 18-team Big Ten tournament. Nobody, and I mean nobody, ever said. At any rate, so that's the fun stuff regarding that. Ohio State was roughly 34 in the net, the NCAA net, and they were roughly 34 in the Ken Palm computer rankings. I already checked Ken Palm today, and with that road win dominating as it was and using the offensive and defensive metrics that Ken Palm uses, Ohio State shot up 7 spots to number 27 in the Ken Palm. My guess is the road win at a Penn State team that was only, I believe, 12-16 or 12-18, I think now, and just 3-16 in the Big Ten. Probably only going to move up 3 spots, I would think, in the net. So they do not update the net until about 9 o'clock Eastern time. So stay tuned for that update here in a little while. We'll check the net and see where the Buckeyes landed with that. But generally, if you're ending the season and you're in the top 35 in the net, you're going to be in the NCAA tournament with an at-large berth. And Ohio State is certainly trending that way right now. This was a quad 2 win on the road. Penn State in the top 150 in net, despite their poor record. Beating Iowa definitely helped their case. And again, not sure where Northwestern will fall after losing at home to Iowa. If they fall out of the top 75, then that quad 1 win will go by the wayside. But you look at it, all you could do is win your games, make the best case that you can make, and go from there. I will say, if you're the 8 or 9 seed in the Big Ten tournament, that would set you up to play the top seed, Michigan, in the quarterfinals on Friday of the Big Ten tournament. We know how those 2 matchups went for Ohio State. Not good and not good. So, and Dusty May told Jake Diebler after the second one, we are a bad matchup for your team because of the front line with Ade Mara 7-2, and then Marez Johnson, who Ohio State tried to get, was unable to put a positive bid in on him, and Yaxel Lindeberg, who has been a great player, obviously, for Michigan as well. Looking back at this game, just a few more notables. We talked about Bruce Thornton, 18 points, and he is within scratching distance, obviously, of setting the new Ohio State career scoring record. Dennis Hopson has promised to be there. Would be a great showing, obviously. Hopson finished his career in 1987. His last game was an NCAA game against, I believe it was Georgetown. They beat Kentucky in the first round and lost to Georgetown in the second round down at the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia. That was his last game. He broke the record just a few weeks prior to that in a game against Florida International. I believe it was on March the 4th of 1987, 39 years ago. He broke what was then Herb Williams' record. And then obviously now 39 years later, it's taken somebody. Bruce Thornton is one of the very few seniors across the college basketball landscape. Somebody put something on Twitter. There may only be 22 of them at the Power 5 conference level who have made it through 4 or 5 years to see a senior day, given, NIL and the transfer portal and everything that's happened. He is one of the rare ones right now, Bruce Thornton. And obviously you saw the high praise that Tom Izzo and Matt Painter heaped on him in recent weeks. Matt Painter talked about Bruce Thornton and kind of weaved it into his guy, Robbie Hummel, from a few years ago for several minutes, and said that dudes like that are gold, was the quote that he used. And certainly here's Bruce Thornton, who stayed with Ohio State through thick and thin, through a coaching change. He and Jake Diebler joined at the hip, and now on the cusp, on the verge of making the NCAA tournament for the first time in 4 years. Ohio State's last tournament appearance was 2022 in Pittsburgh. They beat Loyola Chicago, I believe, in the first round. That was Malachi Branham was on that team, as well as E.J. Liddell. And then they lost to a very good Villanova team that was a 2 seed in the second round. And that Villanova team went on to the Final Four, I believe, that year. Just getting back into this game here. Devin Royal, since he missed the game at Michigan State, he's played some pretty good basketball. He had 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists, 32 minutes, 5 of 11 from the field, and hit a three-pointer. He was one of 7 players who made three-pointers in this game. Amari Bynum, the freshman, he brought a ton of energy to this game, 14.6 rebounds, 24 minutes for him. Christoph Tilley, he just finds ways to impact the game, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, critical for him. He also hit a three-pointer. Bynum hit a three-pointer. Coming on down, Tayson Chapman, 6 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 on threes, 4 assists for him, 19 minutes. Colin White hit just his second three-pointer of the season. He played 7 minutes, had 3 points. Ivan Jagovin had some foul trouble. He fouled out 13 minutes, 1 point, 1 rebound. Not some of the better performances that we've had from Ivan in recent weeks. Gabe Cupps played 17 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and Braylon Nash, the walk-on, he got in at the end and played 3 minutes as well. So total team effort. And for Grujicic to not play in this game, he's only played in 6 games this season. That kind of tells me that they may be thinking about trying to apply for a medical red shirt for him. I guess we'll wait and see what Jake Diebler says about that. Brandon Knoll on a podcast after the game, Jake Diebler joined a podcast and seemed to indicate that Brandon Knoll is getting closer and closer to returning. He thinks that he will, quote, check into a game before the season ends. Don't know if that'll be this week against Indiana or in the Big Ten tournament next week. But Brandon Knoll, again, we're going to have to give him some grace here. He hasn't played since January the 5th. That's 2 full months he's been on the shelf as of today. And he's going to be working his way back in there. Any positive minutes he could give this team in the postseason would be tremendous, certainly. Let's see here. I'll just post a couple more messages. Hey, BR. Hello. How are you? Buck Rational says, I'll be up in the cheap seats. There you go. Buck Rational says, hey, SS. Just talking to one another here. Spider Sillery has a sentiment that a lot of people would probably share. Wish I lived closer. Yeah. I think a lot of people want to get on this bandwagon right now, but they are coming together at the absolute right time. So things are looking up for this program and this team. Spider has a good comment here. Hopefully they can carry this moment to the Big Ten tournament in the NCAA. Buck Rational got to take care of business on Saturday, as it was all for naught, if not, and got to get Bruce into the dance once. I think everybody agrees with that. Spider Sillery, if they get another chance to play Michigan, they would certainly love to make the third time count. If they get a chance to play Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, that would be, and it would set up that way. As I said, if they're the 8 or the 9 seed and they win the 8-9 game on Thursday, they would then play in the first quarterfinal on Friday against Michigan, which has already clinched the number 1 seed in the regular season championship. Sage Ohio says, morning nutters. I want to pass on. I am not preempting the Bucknuts Morning 5. Dan Rubin will be along at the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. Dan Rubin will be on with his recruiting gurus, which are Garrett Hodge and Mark Porter from Scouting Ohio. They will be around to talk football recruiting here at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock on the Bucknuts Morning 5. Let's see. Brian says, I'd love to see Michigan in the NCAA tournament. The opportunity to ruin them would be amazing. Well, that would definitely be fitting if Michigan took down one of Ohio State's greatest teams ever in 1992. If Ohio State takes down arguably one of Michigan's greatest teams ever in this tournament, one way or the other, Big Ten tournament or NCAA tournament. It would take a Herculean effort, though, for this Ohio State team to beat that Michigan team. Spider says hello to Sage. Let's see here. Still plenty of seats at $24 if you decide to attend. That is Saturday's game against Indiana. They had over 15,000 for the game against Purdue, and we will see if they can up that. They had close to 18,000 for the game against Michigan. Mika was on here, and he says, let's see if I can get it to work. Hey, everyone, go Bucks. Can't get it to work, though. Why is it not working? There it goes. Hey, everyone, go Bucks. Brian Ritchie says, yeah, Matt Painter laid out everything on Bruce. Very on point and classy. Agreed. Spider Sillery says, favorite Buckeye basketball player is Jim Jackson. I do not know if Jim Jackson will be on the Fox call on Saturday for that game. A lot of times he does. They do not have a game Friday night, though. I think they're showing baseball, Team USA World Baseball Classic on Friday night. So that he may not be there. Todd asks, how many points does he need to score to surpass Hobson? Hobson has 2,096. Right now, Thornton has 2,085, so he would tie Hobson with 11, and he would become the new record holder with 12 or more in that game against Indiana, and you hope that he gets it done on his senior day. How appropriate would that be? Buck Rational says, I watched JJ play once in high school when I was in grade school. Filled the local gymnasium standing room only. I didn't understand, but it was a big deal. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Jim Jackson, he played his regional for Toledo, Macomber, and it was at the Fairgrounds Coliseum in Columbus, where they have a lot of district and regional games. They moved him back here a year or two there, and that was it sat empty for about 10 years. They didn't play high school games there, but they renovated the building a little bit and they put them back there. People were scalping tickets to that Jim Jackson regional game at the Coliseum, for a lot of money. And there was a crowd of probably 5,000 or 6,000 inside the building. That was it. Sage Ohio said, it's not that I don't want Thornton in the NCAAs. It's just that I want Ohio State more. Well, I think a lot of people would agree with you. It's been a long time between drinks of water for this program, and it's time to get that done. And Buck Rational says, regarding the radio show today, this is just the pregame. Love it. We need more of this. Yeah, we need a pregame show to the Bucknuts Morning 5, which Dan Rubin and I did yesterday. Was the Bucknuts Morning 25. So I guess John says, not sure I'm buying the basketball program because of the up and down season. I get that. I understand that wholeheartedly. And the quad one wins, the wins over ranked teams, just 2-7 against ranked teams, 2-10 in quad one. And you're hoping that Northwestern win can hang in there. We'll see what it is. Let's see. Jermaine Runnels asked here early in the chat if Diebler is coaching for his job. If I can find it, I'll post it. Jermaine Runnels says, is Jake's job on the line? I don't think so. I think he's going to be back next year. And certainly it is trending for them to make the NCAA tournament. And I think there's a path for them to even make it. And I don't want to even broach this thought, but if they were to lose to Indiana, I don't want to broach that thought, obviously, but I think there is a path for them to still make the NCAA tournament. And I would think Ohio State would be favored by 5 to 7 points over Indiana on Saturday, but they played a great game, so there it is. Tim answered Jermaine's question. It should be. Well, that's that's your prerogative. Jermaine says he gets them to the dance. Is it? And yeah, I think he gets him to the NCAA. Certainly coming back. So nobody wants this more than Jake Diebler. I can guarantee you that. I just want to throw in a little bit about Indiana. Obviously, they've had a kind of an up and down season that parallels Ohio State's in many regards. This was the first season for their basketball coach, DeVries. He came in from after one season at West Virginia. Darian DeVries. He followed Mike Wooden. He's from Iowa originally. He brings over 24 years of Division I coaching experience. He had successful tenures at Drake and West Virginia, and now the head coach at Indiana. And they need a strong finish to cement their NCAA bid. As we said, Lunardi from ESPN, the last thing that we had heard was that Indiana was among the last four in the tournament. And obviously, so they're going to come to Columbus and play with a tremendous sense of urgency. As we said, I believe they just snapped a 4-game losing streak. They are 18-12 overall, 9-10 in the Big Ten. And let's see, yes, they had lost games at number 8 Illinois, at number 7 Purdue. They got dusted by 29 points. At home, they lost to Northwestern 72-68. At home, they lost to number 13 Michigan State 77-64, and they spanked Minnesota 77-47 last night there at the Assembly Hall, one of the great cathedrals for college basketball. One of the casualties of the 18-team Big Ten is the Buckeyes don't get to play a full round robin anymore, and their trips to great places like Indiana's Assembly Hall, Purdue's Mackey Arena, didn't go to either of those places this season. And that's an unfortunate thing, obviously, because those are tremendous, tremendous places to watch college basketball. Indiana got ahead of Minnesota 43-28 at halftime, and then rolled on to the easy win in that game. Just looking at the box score here. For the game, Indiana shot 57%. They were 42% on threes, 10 of 24. So they're going to come in feeling pretty good about themselves. Let's see. Sam Alexis, he scored 23 points. He was 9 of 11 on field goals, 5 of 8 at the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 2 block shots. Sam Alexis, he is a 6'9" senior for Indiana. All of these guys are transfer players. I don't think they had anybody held over from the Mike Woodson regime to play for Darian DeVries. And Sam Alexis was a Florida transfer. Tucker DeVries obviously came from West Virginia. With his dad, he had 13 points, hit 3 of 5 threes last night. Nick Dorn hit 3 of 8 threes. He's a backup guard. Lamar Wilkerson, he has had a tremendous season for Indiana, averaging about 21 points a game. He was 4 of 7 on threes last night, 16 points for him. And their fifth starter is Connor Enright. You will know him. He is the guy that runs around with the mullet, on the black hair with the long mullet behind him. Lamar Wilkerson, averaging 21 points per game. He is a transfer from Sam Houston State University. So they went far and wide to find these guys, and Lamar Wilkerson has made a big jump to the big time. He averaged 20 points a game at Sam Houston State last year, averaging 21 points a game. And the Buckeyes will have their hands full with this Indiana team, at least when they are hitting. They are fun to watch offensively when they can get it rolling. But I think Ohio State playing at home, as I said, should be favored anywhere from 5 to 8 points, I would think, on Saturday. The Bruce Thornton bobblehead night, we covered that. Not enough bobbleheads to go around. Get there probably at 1 o'clock if you want to stake out your spot to get a Bruce Thornton bobblehead. Going to be really hard to get that. Let's see here. I'm going to call up Indiana Stats. I had a couple of questions about that and about Wilkerson in particular. Wilkerson is hitting 38% of his threes. So, yes, he is a three-point machine. Tucker DeVries is hitting 34. Nick Dorn hitting 37. Those are the three guys that really you have to account for. Connor Enright hitting 33% as well. They're a fun team to watch just at times this year, Indiana. But I think Ohio State will have the advantage in the post with the 7-footer, Christoph Tilley. They don't have anybody to match up with him. Alexis just 6'9", and Amari Bynum should also have an advantage in terms of size as well in the paint for the Buckeyes. So Buck Rational asked the question, and we tried to get the answer. Let's just see. When is the school going to put big money into this basketball program? That is a good question, and I think maybe seeing the way that people have taken to this team, maybe this will be the year. The Bible says that faith makes all things possible, Jack says. So I'm covering the bills for the first 50 people who message me directly with the word amen. Stay safe, everyone. Well, that's nice. What a nice feeling there, Jack. And there you go. Buck Rational. Scott, don't want to even see it, but if Michigan tried to hold a banner after a game at the Shotted Center Court, the money would flow in. That's funny. That is funny. College Sports Roundtable will be held Friday by the President of the United States. Maybe something will finally get done with this crazy NIL. Couple amens here. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to free up this channel for our comrades, Dan Rubin and Mark Porter and Garrick Hodge. Bring your questions on Ohio State football recruiting to them. They are the absolute best in this space, and they will get you the answers that you need. Spring football starting on Tuesday. We will be there. We'll be all over it. And I'm going to sign off for now. Thank you all. 33 minutes, 34 minutes. We covered Ohio State basketball. There are a few people who still care. 225 people on this show right now. And we will get this show posted to the website so anybody who wants to watch it can check it out as well. But everybody have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you camped out at the Shot early on Saturday for the season finale. There have been a lot of great season finales at the Shot, and we'll see if they can make this one another one as the Buckeyes are trying to punch their ticket to the big dance. So there you go, guys. Everybody take care and have a great day.